Hey everybody, I'd like you to welcome Klayton from Shadow Hunter Society.
And I'd like to welcome Ichi from Moxi's Monthly.
And welcome to episode 1 of the Ouija Wars. This is a 3-part series that Klayton and I are going to have. We're going to be discussing
a lot of different things, mainly about Ouija boards and the use of them, and some other things about the paranormal.
The devil.
We're going to be doing a collaboration with Moxi's Monthly. You've probably seen me put his YouTube channel in a lot of my videos. He's a really good friend of mine. What we're talking about today, we have talked about a lot, and it's all friendly. There's, no hard feelings against us for having different beliefs or anything, different feelings for any of the stuff we're going to talk about. We're going to be talking about a lot of the paranormal, well, technically all of the paranormal. It's going to be about religious beliefs and a bunch of other stuff. And just remember that, there's no hard feelings between us. So, if someone that even has different beliefs, don't take it out on them either.
Yeah, we're not getting butthurt by what me and him are saying, so you shouldn't either.
Mama, something bad happened today.
Somebody hurt you, my boy. Who hurt you? You tell Mama who hurt you.
No, wait, Mama.
Okay, so the way we're going to start this conversation is by looking at some old footage by the Warrens and their investigation of a home they believe to be infested by a poltergeist. So we're going to watch that video. We're going to do it with the sound off, probably put a little background music to it, but we'll just watch what's going on and then we'll start our discussion from there. Now, what you're going to see, what's happening right now is spiritual provocation, which, in other words, Ed is provoking the spirit to show itself or to show that it's there. And you'll see the table start to move closer and closer to him. You can also see the camera shake. Now, this video... the backstory is a young girl who played with a Ouija board, and almost immediately following, they started to have disturbances in the home. Now this is her trying to do her homework. Her mother's behind him, and they're just videotaping how it won't leave her alone. Chair keeps on moving, and the mother actually has to put her weight on it, but it will not stop. And you can see that there's no one else around. And this has been aired on, broadcasted all over the world and looked at, torn apart. This is a real video. This is actually happening, and it hasn't been doctored. Okay, so like we just saw, and the story goes, young girl, Ouija board, and then this happens. Right off the bat, what are your thoughts about just that? What everyone else has seen, what I've seen, and the basic storyline.
The big thing is about the Ouija board, I guess. You have someone who really doesn't know what they're doing, and they may have provoked whatever they were speaking to, and that could have caused all of that to happen. That's, in the video, it doesn't tell about any of that, so at that moment... you really don't know. You know something's there with them that's causing harm, possibly.
Someone who doesn't know what they're doing or how to use it, how do you know to use a Ouija board?
How do you know really how to do anything? You research everything. There's always dangers of doing anything in the paranormal. You always want to research how to try to keep yourself as safe as you can. You want to do research on what can happen and be prepared for it. That's some of the big things that you want to know. Okay,
so what are your views on a Ouija board, period?
I don't really think that it's a doorway to anything, or that it opens up, or that it even summons anything. When I use it to an extent of communicating with anything that's around me. I don't think that it summons anything, so if there's nothing there, I don't think it's ever going to bring anything there. And then, again, I feel like if you know how to close the connection properly, nothing can escape it. Because, as I said, it's not really a doorway. It's not like you're bringing other things into it.
Okay, see, and I think the opposite. I believe, heart and soul, that nothing good can come from a Ouija board. That it is a device used by the stupid, and anything you're going to talk to, nothing good is going to answer you out of a Ouija board. It's all bad. In all the years I've spent in paranormal, I've never heard of a good case study or activity going on in a house that was beneficial to anybody. It was all terrible and all bad, and I don't see or know anybody who is a Ouija board master. I don't so it's hard to understand where you're coming from. Like I said, the thing with Klayton and me is I've tried to get Klayton to stop using them, and he laughs at me, and I look at him and go, yeah, okay, you're just picking a fight with the biggest guy here, and you can't win. But why do you think that the Ouija board isn't what I think it is? Which is basically, for me, it's not maybe a doorway, but you're asking something to come through. You don't know what it is. There's no caller ID. It's not Skype. You're not seeing a face. You don't know anything about it or who or what you're talking to, and and they know that, so they're going to use that to their benefit and claim to be something that they're not. Which, case studies you see, it's a little girl or an old lady, and then oh yeah, well just come and stay with us, and that and then they have you. And then that's it. And then you have moving tables, and little girls can't do their homework.
But all it is an object. Just like how anything can be possessed. That's pretty much what can happen. I mean, when it was originally created, it was just used to communicate with their fallen loved ones, and then it got mass produced by game companies, and everybody think that it's just a joke. That's one of the big things. It's really not.
Okay, let me ask you something then. Okay, so you got, so it was made by game companies. We all know that. And and everybody who follows the paranormal knows that that's just not the only thing the Ouija board, that it is. Mm-hmm. That there's more to it than that. All jokes aside, though, there is no learned person of the Ouija board. Who is that person? Why would you think that a Ouija board why would you think that it's okay for you to use it?
Like me, I feel like I take the necessary precautions. I mean, I pray. I mean, I don't know if I'm praying to just one thing or multiple, but I do pray, for safety, for protection and all that. I use charms. I bless the Ouija board even after and before using it. I do all sorts of different stuff. Like, a lot of the times when you see about these Ouija boards that are causing paranormal problems, you've probably never seen them do any of that. Or that they're young, so they've never prayed before. They've never done anything on the religious level. They've just used it.
Not just in Christian sense, he means. Mm-hmm. In any religious sense. Faith of any religion.
Yep.
Let's just get that by. Because we both prescribe to different religions. But what he means is faith in any religion. But the thing is why would you think you have the ability to use it when literally not one person in paranormal history has been able to control or had anything good come out of it? I mean, do you have a case study or a time outside of yourself that that where it was a good thing?
I've seen multiple people that I've talked to where they have used it to communicate to find out what the person was, and then from there they tried to help them along onto a better place instead of just sitting where they were. Yeah, like I've seen friends, other people that used it to try to help whatever they were that they felt the presence of. Some people they didn't get anything when they used it. Other people have talked to what they thought were other spirits that just never moved on. So from hearing that, they always wanted to try to help them. And from when the last time I talked to them, they always said that after using it, I found out who they were and I tried to help them along, and I've never had any other activity since then.
Okay, but right there, in order for you to talk to like a past loved one, God, a deity, whoever you believe in, you don't need a Ouija board to do that. You can just talk to them.
Some people like the effect that, you know, a Ouija board moves and it actually spells it out. So they think, you know, if not always, sometimes that they may be actually talking to one and they're actually hearing them back. They actually see what they're saying instead of just a one-sided conversation.
Okay, now, just to note, on my end, I don't believe in any communication with the... I don't believe at any point in time EVPs, anything that you should communicate whatsoever, that the only time it's necessary to communicate with them is if there's a problem or if you're seriously trying to help a living person. So few people have the ability, in my opinion, to do what Klayton's saying and help people on the other side. And I think those people were meant, fated, or that was their purpose to do it, not just anybody who has a Ouija board. Now, how many times have you used one?
A lot. First started probably when I was 13, 14. And then growing up in a family that, you know, were spiritual Wiccans, spiritual Satanists, all that different stuff, I got taught to use one at a young age. And, like, I guess that could be why, you know, I'm so used to it or I don't feel like I'm in any danger. It's because I was brought up at a young age. So, you know, me being younger, you're always more stupid also. I mean, you follow along a lot easier than you would if you knew a lot of experiences that were bad.
Right, so right about the time that you started masturbating, you thought the next best decision you could possibly make was to play with the Ouija board.
Pretty much. Because, like...
That's awesome.
But, like, it also gives you a different feeling talking to something that, you know, is not around here. Finding out things that you never thought you would ever find out.
Like what? What have you learned from a Ouija board that gave you some kind of astral intelligence into anything substantial? I mean, actually useful. Not just a feeling, not just a high. You can get that from freaking heroin if you want.
Now, this is very personal if you want me to go on. Like...
Well, I mean, that's up to you, though.
Well, like when my mother got cancer.
Okay, Klayton's mother, Cindy, who is a saint, by the way, and
Yep.
one of my favorite people in the entire world, hands down. Amazing woman, absolutely bonkers crazy, and I love her to death. She passed away recently, but that was not the insight to Klayton. That was not the insight to Klayton using a Ouija board.
But, like, what's weird is, like, no one knew anything was wrong. The only person that did was my brother. He just outright, flat out said it. He went up to my mom one day and said, "You have cancer." The reason he always said he knew is because he was using a Ouija board one day, and then he got a strange feeling. Like something was telling him that something was wrong. And maybe that's why he also, you know, turned to a different religion.
Okay, let me ask you something. The person that used the Ouija board that got the information that she has cancer. Okay, so let's go from there. Let's say that. Let's just, you know, ride with that. Now, did he ever ask again how to cure it?
He's never spoken to... Well, like... Because, like, it never gave a definitive answer. Like, when he was speaking
Okay, but it gave an answer, and then he found out that, yeah, your mom has cancer, and put two and two together going, oh, the Ouija board kind of told me that. They're right, and then he never went back?
Not that I know of. I mean, and if he did, he never told us.
Okay, and that's kind of my point on the Ouija board. I mean, it never told you for sure that, you know, mom had cancer. It just kind of maybe hinted somewhere around that it did, and then you found out, right, you don't even know for sure if it was the Ouija board or not. But let's say that it was enough, because that's all it really, you're talking angels.
Yeah.
Angels just nudge you in the right direction. All of a sudden you're doing the right thing, and you have this feeling that that's what happened, and it usually was. So let's just go with that. I mean, that's fair. So, but then he never went back and asked, hey, how can I cure this? Why wouldn't that person do that? Or you?
Well, see, like, he may have, for all I know. I mean, he's never really gotten into that. about if he ever went and asked if it can be fixed or if it can be helped or anything. By the time he, found out that it was actually true, it was a little too late.
Okay, and one of my points is that, had, this person or anybody else gone on a Ouija board and got an answer on how to fix it, or even hell, even if it's, I can't. Mm-hmm. There is nothing, even if it was a half answer of that, mm-hmm. that would have been some kind of substantial, okay,
Yeah.
All right, wow, that was useful. Thank you. Whoever the heck that was, yeah. I mean, but since there wasn't, my point is, in history, in the paranormal, there's nothing good that I can think of that has ever come from a Ouija board. And if you're not getting anything useful from it, like how or can I cure my mom's cancer, and getting an answer back there, why would you even...
Well, okay. So when he first thought that, she had cancer, when he first got that first feeling, he thought it was a joke. And then the thing is, he waited a while, and then he actually told her. I think it was like 2 or 3 months. And then she always played it off for another 2 months, thinking that he was just, joking. And then we really found out. So maybe, I'm just guessing, but, if he would have told her right away and she took it serious, maybe it would have got caught in time. Maybe then it would have been at the early stages enough to where it would have been completely in remission and she would have been, kind of cancer-free.
No, and you know what? I actually do hear what you're saying. That's kind of a hindsight type look at it, but perhaps, maybe, you can't shoot that down, especially when there's hope online. But I mean, as far as I'm concerned, life is life. Leave the dead to the dead, and there's no use for a Ouija board. But okay, so what are your thoughts on ghost hunting? Like going to a haunted location, let's say, like a hospital, like you have on your channel. Mm-hmm. You can check that out. Shadow Hunter Society. It's linked on Moxi's Monthly, and Moxi's Monthly is linked on Shadow Hunter Society. So what do you think about ghost hunting? Real quick, what I think is that there's no point. If you're not helping somebody, there's no point in involving yourself in the dead or what they're doing, especially in an abandoned place. Like, just leave them be, because of what you can bring with you. And also, you're there for your own excitement, and nothing scientific, nothing helpful, nothing spiritual. So I see 0 point to ever ghost hunting. I mean, Ghost Adventures on TV is exciting, but there's really no point to it. And a lot of those guys and the people you see in the background have quit because of it.
And if you're just doing it for fun, I can see a lot of the times where you just shouldn't go and bother them. But us, we always try to, if we ever do, when we go to paranormal hunt or anything like that, and we go up to, say, that hospital, and we do contact something, we always try to help it, because I feel like if you're talking to it, it's stuck still in our plane of existence. It hasn't fully moved on. So it's always good, I always try, if I do contact something, to see why they're stuck here. If there's a specific reason, or if they just chose to stay for themselves. And then, once you find that reason, I always try to find a way, if there's any way to try to help them cross into the other plane, or into where they're free then, where they don't have to worry about other people trying to talk to them.
If you're going to go ghost hunting, that's the best attitude you can probably have to go ghost hunting. And from what I believe to be true, it's this. If you have the ability to go to heaven, let's just say heaven and hell, those are your choices. If you have the ability to go to heaven, you're going to go. And you would never... a heavenly being wouldn't act scary, wouldn't be haunting anything. And if you went to hell, it's my belief that hell lets nobody go. So if you're there, you're either supposed to be there, that is your hell, or you're being used by something more demonic. That's my thoughts on it. But that's what you had said. Why you're going there? That's a more noble of cause, though. It's actually Lorena Warren. That's what she always did. She always tried to send them, beyond, go into the light type of a deal. But spiritually, as far as spiritual strength, I don't have that. So I never involved myself with it.
Thanks for watching part 1 of the Ouija Wars. Look forward to part 2 within the next 2 months. So if you side with Ichi from Moxi's Monthly, put your comments on what you thought during this discussion on Moxi's Monthly. And
if you're siding with Klayton from Shadowhunter Society, don't forget to put your comments there.
Thanks for watching.
And see you for part 2.